All right, welcome inside the podcast. It is Wednesday. I was not at work today, but I am here for this. What's up, Al?
Oh, hi there, Jerry. Yes, you were told to take the day off and rest, and I hope you got some sleep.
I got a lot of sleep, 13 and a half hours worth of sleep. So, yes.
I got a lot of sleep.
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty
good.
So,
what's the game plan for tomorrow? Have you been told to stay home?
I'll be in tomorrow.
You'll be in tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason to. It's funny. I was talking to Kim about it. It's like, at what point is it silly? Like, you don't feel great, so you feel guilty not working.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, I feel fine. Why am I not going to go into work?
Right.
So, no, I'll be in tomorrow. I feel I really, after the show ended yesterday, I slept for about 2.5 hours. And then I really did. I asked Ryan to work from home again, and he was the one that strongly suggested I take the day and sleep. And that worked out to be great. I slept a lot, and here we are. So pretty good.
Excellent, Jerry.
Pretty good.
Yesterday I was watching, it comes up on my YouTube feed. There's an interviewer I like named Graham Bessinger.
Yes, I'm aware. I watched it too now.
Yeah. So and it's funny because he always he does these long interviews, right? And they're on YouTube, and they're not boring because they're shot in different locations. He does an interview here and interview, but so many times there'll be a guest where I'm like, so Steve Young, the quarterback and broadcaster, is the guest. And I'm like, Steve Young? I have no interest in Steve Young. I just didn't. I was like, I have no interest in this. But I'm making my dinner, and I want to put something on the iPad where I'm making dinner. And I see there's a clip of Steve Young talking about Roger Staubach, who he loved as a kid. I was like, I like Roger Staubach. Let me listen to this. And I click on it. All of a sudden, I'm hooked, Jerry. And I'm like, okay, give me another clip. And now I'm watching all the clips. But one of the clips, Steve Young said that when he was in Little League Baseball, he had a season where he went 0 for 40 or 50. He can't remember which.
Yep.
But he had 0 hits, which is one of my claim to fame. So it was nice to hear that a professional athlete also went 0 for an entire Little League season. I felt good about myself.
You watched the clips. I actually watched the long form.
Yeah.
I didn't see all of it. I watched about an hour or so, and that was probably 30 minutes in or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, what I took from it was, you're like Steve Young. That's kind of cool. That you both had these terrible Little League seasons. B, because didn't you also say you tried to bunt a few times?
Yes.
So he said to try and get out of that for funk, he would try drag bunting. So I'm like, this is you. Except, he was living where he was living, and, well, he became an NFL quarterback.
And he was lefty. He could drag bunt. I was a right-handed hitter. I had
you would have had
regular
to push bunt.
Yeah, push bunt.
Or a little drop bunt down the third baseline. But I thought a couple things that were really interesting from the interview, too, beyond, you being like Steve Young. Number one, the difference in times. And you sent me the clip where you were talking about the clip where he wanted to leave BYU as the 8th quarterback on the depth chart to go to North Carolina, where he could have started. And his dad said, you can do what you want, but don't think you're coming home. And it was amazing in this day and age where college athletes are leaving everywhere because they don't get enough playing time to that. That's not that long ago, Al.
Yeah, and the great line his dad said was, he goes, yeah, you can do that, but don't come home. He said, because I don't live with quitters.
Unbelievable.
I don't live with quitters. That's awesome. And he was happy his dad said that to him, because then he didn't leave BYU, and then he had this great career.
And look what he became. The other thing that to me was fascinating about the interview, and this is, again, I feel like you and I are Steve Young. Did you notice, or did you see a clip where he talked about how when the career is over,
yes,
what do I do now? And I'm not qualified to do anything.
Well, that's what he said. His dad kept telling him, be prepared. You want to be a football player, but be prepared to not do that. Then he becomes a football player, and he goes, that's great, but the average NFL career is this long. Then what are you going to do?
So true. And then to hear him talk about, he gets into this, private equity and how he learned and met people. And it was unbelievable in terms of the person he was, the career he had, and what he has done post-football is remarkable.
Yeah, it was a really good interview. And again, when I first saw it on the surface, I was like, I didn't need to hear about Steve Young. I didn't really have any interest. But then once I started watching a clip, then I was like, okay, let me see this clip. Now I want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty good. And by the way, I don't know if you know this from watching the clips, that interview was done from his home.
Oh, his beautiful home.
That room he is in. And he lives in Silicon Valley. And he he lives on the same block that Steve Jobs owned.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, he was a few houses down from Steve Jobs. So this guy, I believe and you'll watch it and you'll learn all this. but I believe his private equity firm that he owns now, or co-owns, I should say, is worth $10 billion.
Oh, all righty.
Yeah. He's done okay.
So he's done pretty good for himself, yeah?
I would say so.
Would you say he's done pretty good?
No, he's done damn good.
Yeah. What were the other, you had items you said for me?
So, yeah, I had two things for you. Number one, one's about yoga. Another one is about, so it's kind of tax time. You know, it's February. I know some people have done their taxes already.
I did my taxes on over this past weekend.
Oh, perfect. So you did your taxes. So, you know, I'm trying to come up with expenses, and I'm looking through the year, and, you know, I saved some receipts. And just because we always talk about this, I pulled one receipt that I found. I'm not going to mention the restaurant. Again, I'm not going to do that. But, you know, sometimes you get the bill. You just pay the bill. You don't really look at the bill. Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay. So there's one in particular. We went out for one of my kids' birthdays. So there were 6 of us. So the bill I expected to be big. It was, as it turned out to be. It was $585.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. Tell me about it. But here's a couple of things I looked at as I started looking over this receipt, which is just, so you know what Tartufo is, right?
Yes.
All right. It's like a scoop of ice cream for
It's a scoop of ice cream with an espresso poured on it.
Okay. I mean, Tartufo for me, it was the scoop of ice cream with that's got the chocolate around it, but it doesn't matter. It's ice cream. Do you know it was $16 each
for Tartufo?
We have 4 of them here for $64.
You had 64. Like if you would have bought ice cream in the store, you could have had so many gallons of ice cream.
You get 2 gallons for $6.
You'd be all deep in ice cream.
So that blew me away. One person got a slice of cheesecake, $17.
Yeah, but you went to a pricey restaurant.
And then here's the last one, which I could not believe. And I didn't look at it the night of. So I got 2 Casamigos on the rocks. They charged me $16 for the Casamigos. All good. At the bottom, they list a rocks charge for ice of an additional $4 each.
You got charged $4 for ice?
For ice. Dude, I am like blown away by, and I just thought it was interesting because of, and I don't want to call them hidden charges because they give you the receipt. You can see it.
You just don't really examine it.
No.
You kind of glance at it to make sure it's yours and not another table's.
And then, well, I did know it was ours. And then the other thing is you've talked about too, because no one carries cash anymore. There was a $14 non-cash adjustment fee. Yeah,
they hit like 3%, 3.2%.
Like, wow. So I thought those were interesting. It's nothing that we haven't discussed before, but seeing it, my head was spinning.
I've never seen a charge for ice.
Me neither. It's called a rocks charge.
That's interesting.
I mean, you got to be kidding me. And then the other thing I saw, New York Post they do a lot of these like health and wellness articles.
Mm-hmm.
And I know back in the day, you and I have talked about, goat yoga and things like that. So there's an article that was posted yesterday, and it's called Naked Yoga with a Partner Improves Intimacy and Stress Relief. And my first thought is fair enough, but could you ever see yourself with Gina doing naked yoga together?
Nope.
And here's the thing that really stinks.
No one wants to look into crevices.
Right. So when you look at the article and the photos they give you, see, this is the problem with this. The photos are of people that are in perfect shape, that look phenomenal. And the popular pose, and you tell me what woman's going to do this. It's called the seated wide-legged forward fold. So let me just explain this to you, Al. The man, who is, by the way, in perfect shape in the photo, is laying down on his back. His legs are open. The woman then spreads her legs, she goes foot to foot with him. And then she bends over and rests her face on his crotch.
What?
I swear to God, if you look at the photo, I'm describing it. What is this?
I'd like to see a Bill Belichick and his girlfriend do this yoga.
That's gross.
That would be very gross.
Not from his standpoint. From
her standpoint. Yeah.
You got to be kidding me with this.
Yeah, I'm not doing naked yoga. I'll do goat yoga where goats are running around while you're trying to bend in weird ways and goats are diving on your back. I'd go for that.
Or even regular yoga.
But puppy yoga.
Doing this with no clothes on.
I'm not doing naked yoga.
And the best part too, like the guy is completely shaven perfect. He's got an 8-pack stomach.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Long flowing hair. His girlfriend looks like a perfect 10 in all these photos. And then if you look to society, we're all fat and ugly.
Yeah, the reality of it's like when they used to have nude beaches.
Yes,
you would picture these like beautiful women and and in shape men nude on the beach, and no, it's big fat, disgusting, hairy people
that don't
nude,
care. Then they don't care,
and they don't care.
It's so true.
With their pubic hair out in the open, it's so disgusting.
It's nasty.
I want to see if you're interested in this, Jerry. There's a representative from Florida.
Okay.
I don't know what you call them when they. It's just, I don't know if she's House of Representatives or I have no idea how that works. But a representative from Florida. Her name is Anna Paulina Luna.
Okay.
She has started the task force on the declassification of federal secrets.
Oh, okay.
And she's working with the government to get all the information out, to declassify all the information regarding JFK, which is supposedly coming out, RFK, the senior who was killed,
right?
MLK, UFOs, 9/11, COVID, and the Epstein list.
Nice. By the way, she was on the cover of Maxim.
Yeah, she's a very pretty woman.
She's only 35.
Is that right?
She's 35. You're 20 years older than her, and
what?
I'm 15 years older than her. And she's in the House of Representatives?
Yeah, or something.
Does it ever make you feel, before we get back to this, does it ever make you feel, what's the right word? Insufficient or insignificant? Like people so much younger than us have these monster jobs?
Well,
I do.
Yeah, I don't really think about it all that much. I think if I was younger, I would think about that now. But okay. I feel like, listen, Jerry, you and I, we got to New York City radio. I mean, that was not an easy thing to do. So we did okay for ourselves.
Oh, I know. I see jobs like this and I'm like, wow, at 35, she can handle whatever responsibility she has. And I don't know what they are. Like, that's a big deal.
Well, that's why I'm fascinated by this Caroline Leavitt. She's 27.
Right.
She's the White House press secretary. Are you kidding me?
It's incredible. It really is incredible.
Generally, what I think about that and like what I think about with this woman here is that, like, what is their day like? Do they ever get to relax? Do they ever, like, is your entire life being the White House press secretary, being this representative for Florida? Like, do you have any downtime, or are you always, even if you're getting ready for bed, are you always...
You're always on,
locked in on like emails and texts, and
I think you have to be.
Yeah, I think so too. That seems crazy.
And I think you probably have to hire people to help you out with kind of sorting through what's important and what's not, and what you need to respond to and what you don't.
Yeah,
I do see, because you've mentioned her name, so I Googled her, which is where I saw the Maxim cover.
Mm-hmm.
The headline is, she believes there were 2 shooters for the JFK assassination.
Yeah. So what she has seen so far. And she has seen the stuff that's going to be released. So my question to you is this: is this going to be a big deal?
I actually don't think it is, only because it is so long ago now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you're talking 1963, 37, 57. We're talking 62 years ago. I'll tell you where it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the people in Dallas, for the museum. They're going to have to reconfigure a lot of different things. But do I think that America is going to be up in arms over this? No, I don't, because just in terms of it being, what I say, 62 years ago, the majority of citizens in this country weren't alive.
But like, yeah, but I wonder, like, even like the fact that you'll get official news if they release everything properly.
Yeah,
that the government also was, I think what this is going to show is that our own government was involved in assassinating a president. You tell me that's not going to be huge news?
I don't think so. It's a government in 1963.
What about the MLK stuff? That's got a racial thing to it. If our own government killed MLK and RFK and JFK, I mean, that's wild stuff.
That might have more of an impact than the JFK one.
Yeah.
I that could be, but again, even that's 50 something years ago.
Yeah.
It's just so, like if you start uncovering things from like how far back or how recent do things have to be for people to get up in arms over it? If you told me, like, I think Fauci, if whatever they find on him could be more of an uprising than those 2 things, because we all just lived it. Everybody that's been walking this earth has been a part of that crazy year and the way it was mishandled, handled, whatever.
But I think that one already has, you're either anti-Fauci or pro-Fauci.
Fair.
And neither person. Well, it's like the weirdest thing now, like the fact that like they're going through and looking at government spending and uncovering all this crap. There are people that are against that. Tax paying, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either. That's to me people that are just so aligned with their party that they don't want to see the forest through the trees.
Right.
But the Epstein one is amazing to me too, because to see what names come out on that, I mean, there's got to be a lot of people that got some tight butt cheeks right now.
I would think so.
I mean, my God. And you're seeing articles about, Clinton again being around him. Like there's a lot of people that are going to be very nervous very soon.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out where we are in the world as far as like how much outrage will be if it's things we already know. Like if they come out and officially say there were 2 shooters in the JFK assassination and the CIA, FBI were involved in killing Kennedy. That has got to be, I say, we use the phrase front page news, but will it? I don't know. And maybe it will. And but something being front page news, no one's getting the pages to get the front page news.
True. Although you see it online, but I guess my question to you would be this. Like at what point the government from 1963 is not the government in 2025. The people that were walking the earth in some people are alive, but most aren't. It's almost like I saw someone, who was it? Oh God, it was someone that was we talk about the sins of humanity through the years.
Yeah.
All right. And decades and decades. Like, should someone in 2025 be held to the mistakes that people made 100 years ago, if in fact it was in your family line? You know what I mean? Like, let's say, for instance, I'm just throwing this out there. Let's say, for instance, my great grandfather, was involved in some sort of conspiracy to kill a person.
Mm-hmm.
Am I responsible for that?
No.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying is, while I get I understand your point, like the U.S. government might have had something to do with killing their own president. It's 60 years ago. No one's connected to that anymore. I wouldn't think.
But that was the classic, we still use the phrase probably now more than ever, conspiracy theory. So that's a conspiracy theory. This was the ultimate conspiracy theory. And if they're going to come out and show you that conspiracy theory was correct,
then why aren't all of them correct?
Well, right. So
you can definitely make that case.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm not arguing that point at all. I just don't know that you're going to have the outrage. I think if in 1965 it came out that way, I think you would have had protests and marches all over the place. I do. In 2025, I think you get a lot of people that be, that's interesting.
Yeah, this woman, this Representative Anna Paulina Luna, she's very into declassifying UFO stuff as well.
Okay.
But that's another one. I think the president himself could say, we are not alone. I have personally seen UFOs and space aliens. I still think people would be like, oh, did you hear the thing about the aliens? No, what was it? Like, people are just oblivious now.
They are, but I do think if we were shown real proof, I think there'd be more of a response than you do.
But I think we're at an age now with AI that no matter what you were to show people could say, oh, that's AI generated. That's not real.
That's possible. Yeah, I can see people doing that.
And yet we have very well qualified people in the military who have come out and said, I have seen with my own eyes this, and we don't believe them. So seeing a video or picture in 2025 with AI all over the place, people are not going to believe that if they're not already believing the long list of military personnel who have told us that they have seen bodies and seen aircraft and worked on back engineering aircraft.
Yeah, I mean, I also would
stuff.
like to know if people are, writing books and making money on it too.
Yeah.
I am skeptical of people's, the reason why they do things. And like you've said too, I've heard you, I think with Eddie, the one thing that still I can't for the life of me figure out is how come every time we get some sort of video or photo, it's grainy, it's at night, it doesn't look like anything. Like there's just never been anything tangible that we see. I'm like, oh my God, that's it. And instead you're right. I mean, when you've got these people that have great reputations, it should be eye-opening. I don't disagree with that.
Well,
but I always wonder what what is the motivation for doing it? Are they writing a book? Are they selling a book? Or are they just doing it to inform the public?
Yeah, well, I think if this woman is going to get them to declassify all of these different things from JFK to MLK to Epstein to the UFOs, then part of that declassification is to turn over the photographs and videos of the UFOs, which are supposedly very high quality, 4K videos and pictures from a military aircraft that took these things. If we're not going to get that, then stop already. You know what I'm saying, Jerry?
I completely agree with you. No question about it.
I need more UFOs in my life.
I mean, here's a headline that should have people panicked. I don't know in what part of the world, but scientist warns it might be too late to deflect city killer asteroid heading towards Earth.
Oh, yeah. I actually had this on the list for you today, but Gio did it at the very end of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a 98% chance we do not get hit with it. So there's a 2% chance that in 2032, a city-destroying asteroid could hit us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
You think?
Yeah.
The article doesn't say where, I don't believe.
Right, yeah, I don't know yet. Just somewhere on Earth.
Do you think, all right, so let's say in the year 2030, assuming we're still alive.
Yeah.
Do you think that they give people a heads up when they have a trajectory of this thing?
I would hope so. That's a good question.
Right, but then it causes a mass exodus out of that city.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a good thing.
Yeah, it'd be a good thing.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is a good one.
By the way, I know you eat 4 eggs a day.
Mm-hmm.
I did read something because I've obviously been looking up different things about the flu the last couple of days. If you eat, the guy said this was like some health expert.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat 3 eggs a day, you will ward off the flu more than 50% of other people.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's supposedly something in eggs that has a flu killing benefit to it, which I thought was very interesting.
They say the egg, Jerry, is nature's vitamin.
Well, you know what? Keep eating those 4 eggs a day, my man.
I'm eating my eggs.
I had 2 today with avocado. Pretty good.
I love avocado on toast with some eggs.
So that's another interesting one. So when you get sick, a lot of times, you just have some toast, nice and bland. Worst thing you can do.
Toast?
In that article, anything that's going to produce sugar in your body, stay away from because it feeds the germ or feeds the bacteria.
The bacteria eats sugar.
Yes. Damn. So it says eat mostly fruits and vegetables, and we're talking about processed sugars.
Okay.
Eat fruits and vegetables, eggs, anything that's just,
meats.
Kind of what you eat already.
Yeah.
But yes, stay away from anything processed. Stay away from bread, sugar, all sorts of things like that.
Okay. So, I will do that, Jerry.
Well, you are doing it, so.
Mostly.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's do the warm-up show. I did that with Mr. CeeLo this morning.
Was he good today?
He was very good today. Yeah, we had a nice, you would have loved it, Jerry. I did an entire first segment on MSG versus Optimum and grandmothers and cable. It was great. You would have loved it. Poor CeeLo had to sit there.
Oh, that's hilarious. But
yeah,
it's so
got
funny.
into it. It was a good old time.
Good for you.
All right, Jerry, and then you'll be back tomorrow, you say?
I'll be back tomorrow, 100%. I'll be back tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow then at 5 a.m. Until then, so.